Hey everyone, welcome back to Velocity, where today Twitter is upset and offended again. That's right, it's been a little while since Twitter's been really upset about something, but this time, yeah, there was a pretty big storm of all the dream stands online and they really were not happy today. So what was it today? Was it old tweets? No, not this time. Was it an old video somebody found? Was it a comment somebody made 6 years ago on an obscure channel's YouTube video? No, it was none of those things. Today, G. Nelson committed the worst crime you could possibly commit on Twitter. She did one of the worst things you could ever do. That's right, you won't believe it when I say it. She celebrated her birthday. That's right, everybody. I know how selfish of her. She celebrated her birthday here in the United Kingdom, and I'm going to tell you all about how that is the worst thing you could possibly do. But quickly, before we start this video, like the video, otherwise you're a rotten egg. Anyway, let's get into it. So in case you can't tell by my tone already, I am totally joking. This situation is so crazy. I've already said in my last couple of videos, just in case you haven't caught it or you don't live in the UK, the coronavirus restrictions don't exist anymore. The country is very much vaccinated. You know, it's pretty safe out there these days. If you're vulnerable, you're vaccinated, or you've been offered the vaccine, or you've had the chance to get the vaccine. In whatever sense, people are safe here, and honestly, it's great. I can say for one, I've been really enjoying it. We can go out again, we can live our lives again, and it kind of seems like that is just what people are doing. We're starting to live a normal life again. It's only been like, what, a year and a half, 2 years that we were in and out of quarantine, but yeah, finally the UK is fully safe again. And by fully safe, I mean, obviously, you can still catch COVID. I did a couple months ago and it sucked, but I wasn't vaccinated at the time. All vulnerable people are vaccinated. Now people aren't really dying from it anywhere near as much as they were during the spikes. So this shouldn't be an issue, right? Everybody living in the UK knows that it's not that big a deal. Well, apparently, if you have a party in the UK, you are just the worst. And that is something that G. Nelson found out recently because she had a party, a private party in a bowling alley. She had a private party with her friends in a bowling alley where everybody took COVID tests. Most people are fully vaccinated, and Twitter was furious about it. In fact, Twitter was so furious about it, G was actually forced to respond. She had to make a tweet longer to address the situation because, believe it or not, Dream Stands caught wind of this event because a few of the Dream Team, those selfish Dream Team, they attended that party. That's right, that party where they got tested before they went and after they went, and they were vaccinated and they were in a private bowling lane. They went there. How dare they? How dare they go to this super spreading event? So in this tweet longer, as you can see here, it's not that long, it's not a huge thing, but she just says, didn't want to upset anyone, the UK is 80% vaccinated, everybody took negative tests, everybody was safe. But apparently that isn't enough for some people. I mean, it's kind of wild that many people being vaccinated and everybody taking tests isn't enough for some people to say, okay, go ahead. I mean, what do they really want before we open up the world? Like, do they want everybody to be fully vaccinated and take tests every time they leave the house or breathe, I don't know, in a different area? It just kind of seems wild that isn't enough for some people. Some people, like this Twitter user who replied with all due respect, it shows a blatant lack of critical thinking and a lack of respect for the NHS, which is already on its knees with autumn and winter still ahead. Vaccinated people can transmit the virus as easily as unvaccinated people, and long COVID is no joke. And for those of you that don't know, the NHS is the National Health Service. It's our health service here in the UK, which this person claims is on its knees. I mean, there's been a massive strain on the NHS. If you live in the UK, you know about this. It's been really difficult and people have had to stay out of hospital, but I feel like this person doesn't watch the news. I'll be honest, this is one of the more uninformed takes I've seen, and the idea that they are upset that a private party happened, given the fact that all the restrictions are gone. I mean, I live in a city, okay? If you walk out in a city any night, especially on a Friday or Saturday night, you are gonna come across hundreds of people, literally hundreds of people flooding the streets. It is insanely busy all the time, and I really don't think a small group of friends who are testing before and after in a private bowling alley is gonna bring the NHS to its knees like this person seems to think it is. But I think one of the craziest things to this is the people who are still upset about it, I assume because they took such a strong stance to start, they have to stick with it. Their main complaint is that they didn't wear masks and social distance. Now, this might be a controversial opinion, okay, but I do have to ask the question before I say it. Has anyone ever been to a birthday party, right? Is anybody who might have replied to this tweet or had this opinion ever been to a birthday party? Have you ever had to stay 2 meters away from your friends, bear in mind your friends, in a private bowling alley at a birthday? I mean, what do they want from these people? The masks? Maybe you could argue that, but these people who have shown negative COVID tests, who are vaccinated, really don't need to be wearing them. And I think the only other take that I've seen in these replies from people who are still upset are saying just because it's legal doesn't mean that it's right. And yeah, that works both ways. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right. Just because something's illegal doesn't always mean it's wrong. But you can't really criticize people for doing something that is legal when there's things like festivals happening soon, there's huge events happening all the time. Like I say, there is nightclubs crammed full of people every night of the week. It just kind of seems crazy that they think that this private event is going to be the real big killer. And I mean, maybe people would have a right to be like slightly annoyed if they did like a massive house party with loads of people they didn't know and nobody got tested. But honestly, this is like the safest thing I have seen anybody do. This is probably the safest thing you can possibly do right now without sitting 2 meters apart from other people at your own birthday party. But it wasn't just Dream Stans that had a take. No, Dream himself saw that it was his community that was furious and replied in this tweet thread. So this first tweet here is the twit longer from G Nelson, and then Mimulus replies, "Twitter is so odd. People are only pretending to care about this as an excuse to abuse people. Like if they actually cared about this, they'd be talking about clubs and festivals, not a small gathering at a bowling alley of people who are mostly double vaxxed. Hope you're okay." At which point Dream came in, of course Dream, here to protect his 12-year-old followers. He came in with his take. He said, "People need to not be gross, but I've seen way too much horrible stuff about it all. But," and replied with this note, "Although I do agree people are blowing things out of proportion and being abusive and gross when they have no right to be, just to correct potential misinformation, people with vaccinations have much more viral loads and can still spread the virus to other people that aren't vaccinated and maybe even more likely to. Even one person getting the virus, Delta variant, will spread the virus to an average 6 to 7 people, who will then spread it to 6 to 7 people, and so on, quickly shooting up to thousands from just one new case. And who knows who could be in those thousands? Elderly, etc. Inside, the virus spreads worse. Without a mask, the virus spreads worse. And the longer you are close to people, the virus spreads worse. If everyone was tested before and after, like G said, there is no problem, and it's a very reasonable way of doing this with little to no risk. People are making a much bigger deal out of it than they should be either way, and using it as an excuse to attack people. Don't want to see any of that gross stuff or see people support it." And honestly, this just confuses me. Like, this is one of those examples of where if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything at all. Like, this person is being attacked by Dream's fan base, and he comes in with, "Oh, it's fine, you know, I give you permission, and please don't say bad things," I guess. I mean, he hardly even said that, but again, yeah, this just seemed like kind of a weird tweet from him. I mean, he had to say something. It was his fans, so I understand why he responded, but he couldn't go directly against them. And it also just makes it so glaringly obvious that none of these people are from the UK, because like I say, the UK, it's a bit of a Mad Max wasteland now. Anything goes. Honestly, people have been locked up for so long. Like, you look out the window, it's like The Walking Dead. You really, you don't want to be out there if you're scared of the virus. But thankfully, in the UK, we had a pretty good vaccination drive, and now vulnerable people are vaccinated, and we are slowly but surely getting back to normal. I say slowly, it really wasn't that slow, but we are normal again now. Anyway, that's all I have to say in this situation. I just thought that it was kind of funny and like kind of silly, and didn't really get why it was that big of a deal or why the Dream Stans were so angry. But yeah, that's sort of my take. Leave a comment down below on what your guys' thoughts are, and if you made it all the way to this part of the video, comment bowling. Comment the word bowling to let me know you watched all the way to this part, because not a lot of people do. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and watch one of the videos on screen, or else I'm going to be really upset and I'm going to cry and I'm going to start tweeting about it and you're going to get cancelled. Okay, see you guys next time.